and we're going to get going. So I had the request today to work with shoulders as well as wild thing, which I think is a great combination. They come together greatly. For a wild thing, we do need a little bit of opening in the shoulders. And I thought it would also be fun to play a little bit with forearm balance. So don't be afraid, don't be scared with that. We're going to ease into it and just see how it goes. You don't need any blocks for today, but the first pose that we're actually going to be doing, Anahata Asana, could be practiced on blocks if you have them and if you want to go deeper. So come on to your hands and your knees. And I'm demoing with the blocks just in case you want to use them. You don't need them. With your knees underneath your hips, right? So first off, without the blocks, walking your hands out in front of you, dropping your chest down towards the floor. Maybe in the beginning, getting your forehead down to the ground. If you are more open, you can get your chin or your chest to the ground, maybe both. And if you're doing this position on the blocks, your block should be about shoulder distance apart so that there is enough space for your head to drop in between. Elbows come down onto the blocks. You can have your arms extended and do the same thing, or you can have your elbows bent back towards the space in between your shoulders. Let your head drop. You can have your toes tucked or untucked. That's totally up to you. And instead of coming into a meditation seat, we're starting off with this shoulder opener to just become aware of what the body feels like. Right? So sometimes coming into a meditation right away can sort of be like dropping into a cold bath too quick, too soon. Can be a little overwhelming. So maybe coming into a posture first so that our mind can first focus on something else that's very obvious before becoming a little bit more quiet. So the first thing we do here is just arrive and become super aware of the physical body. Yeah, so in this case, the openings you might be experiencing in your armpits and shoulders, your chest, and maybe the actual resistance that you're encountering here in the shape. If your eyes were open, make them slowly close, not because you're not allowed to keep them open or because there's something to see while you're not watching, but just so that you can start to move inside, right? Drop inside a little bit. So think about this arriving into your body, right, as the first step to opening up all the rivers in your system. And the rivers that flow through your system, they are kind of flowing in the path of least resistance. And sometimes in the beginning, right, when we come into a shape or when we arrive in a situation and there's a lot of resistance, it kind of creates this, this extra effort that will only make the blockage that we might be experiencing bigger. Right? So basically, if someone pushes you and you push back, right, you are the one that's also struggling, let's say. So instead of pushing back very, very hard, what would happen if you could kind of imagine that your tissues could soften around the pressure or around the sensations that you're feeling? So in this case, in the openings, notice if you are resisting the stretch in any way, in whatever form. Maybe not just in the body, but maybe also with your head, you're comfortable or uncomfortable, and there are all these thoughts about it. And imagine that you could kind of soften the tissues, or maybe even the metaphorical tissues of your mind around the resisting that's building, so that there is a way for the energy, right, the water metaphor, to slowly start to flow maybe through or around what might felt or feels stuck just now. And a great way, right, to get the water, to get the energy to flow, is to motivate the energy to move with breath. Right? So we know that prana is energy and prana is life force. And we know that breath is movement. So start to focus on your breath and see if you can slowly allow your breath to become a little bit fuller and a little bit bigger. And just like water has the power to soften or maybe even lick away at rocks over time, let your breath also soften whatever blockages you might be feeling here over time. We're going to take 5 breaths. So take a big sip of air in through your nose. And this next one can be out through your mouth or through your nose, whatever you feel is most appropriate for you right now. So again, taking a big breath in into the back body, all the way up to the crown of the head. Feel the space in between the shoulder blades soften. And as you exhale, feel more of a dip down through the heart center. Again, taking a big breath in. This is the 3rd breath. Maybe feel how you lift a little out of the pose. And then as you exhale, think of dropping into whatever you're feeling. Like you're leaning into the pressure or the resistance. One more time, inhaling super deep. And exhale, let the heart melt. Breathing all the way out. Now slowly from here, lift the head by really firmly pressing down through the forearms and fingertips. And if you were already on your elbows, come forward into a sphinx. If you were on blocks, slowly move the blocks aside. Bring your forearms down to the ground and come forward and down onto your belly. Make sure your toes are untucked. Spread your fingers nice and wide. And then create the effort of pulling your hands towards your hips. And so as you pull on your hands, you'll feel the fingertips grip. Your shoulder blades will hug together on the back. And it almost feels like you're stretching your chest forward to your biceps. That's what I want you to really remember, that feeling. Your heart is not necessarily bending back, but it's actually stretching up and away from your hip bones. If you want to come in a little deeper, set your hands a little bit wider and then lift your elbows. And then create the same feeling. Pull your hands towards your hip bones. Bring the tops of your feet down if they started floating, and try and see if you can lift your kneecaps. Press your pubic bone into the floor. Feel the back body get a little bit hot, right? So this feeling of pulling your hands, whether your elbows are on the floor or not, you should feel the muscles right there underneath your shoulder blades sort of engage for it. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, slowly lower your chest down. Bring your hands beside your ribs. Tuck your toes and move your hips back towards your heels. On the round breath, a round spine, we inhale to come forward. And exhale, we're going to start our waves, right? So lifting the sit bones up and tilting them back until they reach the heels again. Inhale, rounding forward, coming into cat. And as you exhale, gliding the hips back towards the heels. Inhale, round forward. And exhale, tilt the sit bones, pull the navel to the spine, and move your chest down towards your legs. One more time. Inhale, round forward, chin to chest. And as you exhale, glide the hips back. Now inhale, glide forward once more. When you come forward, think of getting your pelvis to the floor first. Put a little bend to your elbows. Pull your hands towards your hips and maybe lift your knees. Modified upward dog. Right? So you're pulling your hands towards your feet. There's this feeling of going forward. Come to the tips of your toes. Inhale. Exhale, bring your knees back down and glide your butt back towards your heels, child's pose. Inhale, round forward. Keep pulling on your hands until your hips travel towards the floor. Lift your knees and float your pelvis. Doesn't have to be high. Right, as you can see, I'm moving around a little bit. The arms should be working here. Inhale, think of stretching your chest forward. Exhale, knees to the ground, hips back, child's pose. One more time like that. Inhale, round forward. Lift your knees, exhale. Then inhale, spread the heart. Think of lifting maybe a little bit more through the crown of your head. And exhale, knees down, child's pose. Okay, inhale, this time, same, little different. Round forward, cat. Drop your pelvis, lift your knees, and point your right toes back. So try and see if you can float, right? If it doesn't happen, you can stay in cobra and lift your right foot. Then exhale, lift all the way up and back, three-legged down dog, bending into the right knee and opening up the right hip. Notice right away what happens in your shoulders, right? If the hip is tight or the back is tight, that right armpit tends to spin up to compensate for the space you might not have. So roll your right armpit down towards the floor. Lift your right knee a little higher, inhale. And as you exhale, come forward, stepping your right foot forward in between the hands. We're gonna come into warrior one right away. So drop your left heel to the floor, keep your foot at a 45, bend into your right knee, and inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, cactus your elbows. And then imagine that you're in a doorway. You're walking and you're stuck in a doorway. Your elbows move back and your heart moves forward. Bend your right knee a little bit more and then sink down. Keep the knife edge of your left foot to the floor and spread your elbows back. Take a big inhale. Exhale, squeeze your elbows towards your waist and come forward at a 45-degree angle. Bend your right knee a little bit more and keep lifting in that cobra-like action of moving your chest up and squeezing your elbows back. Take a big inhale, stay right here, right? We're getting a little warm first. Exhale, come down, bring your hands to the floor, straighten your right leg as much as it'll go, and keep your left foot as it is. Take a big breath, halfway lift, square the right hip back, and exhale, fold down over your right shin. Again, inhale, lift up halfway, keep your right foot flexed, pulling towards your nose. Exhale, rounding to fold forward. One more time, inhale, think of lifting and extending the heart like that cobra pulling forward, and exhale, rounding in. Slowly from here, inhale, lift the head, come to fingertips, lift up onto your left tippy toes and step your right foot back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels, roll forward, high plank, knees down, untuck your toes, child's pose. Inhale, round your back, come forward, tuck your toes if they were untucked, lower the pelvis, lift the knees to the best of your ability. Hover a little bit from side to side, moving over the feet. Come into the middle and point your left toes back to hover. Squeeze the shoulders on the back, inhale. Exhale, press your right foot to the floor, lift your left leg up and back, but try to keep the shoulders level. Navel hugs the spine, spread the left toes, right? That left armpit goes down as much as you can. Inhale, come to your right tippy toes. Exhale, left knee to nose and step your foot forward towards the left thumb. Drop your right heel in 45 degrees and anchor your pinky toe to the floor. Inhale, warrior one. Hands can be together or apart, whatever feels good. Exhale, cactus your elbows. Notice in the beginning your elbows are maybe in line with your face. Now start to press your chest forward and your elbows back. Shoulder blades come together, lift your heart higher and away from your hips. Think a little lower. Inhale, maybe back bend. Exhale, squeeze your elbows back together. Hands come parallel to the floor. And imagine your elbows could touch on your back. Keep your heart lifted, but now come forward and you should feel the muscles in between your shoulder blades get really hot. Inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. Straighten your left leg and flex your left toes towards your nose. Inhale, halfway lift, square that left hip back. And exhale, fold over your left thigh. Inhale again, halfway lift, heart forward. Exhale, fold over your left shin, drop the head. One more time, inhale, as straight as the leg will go. And exhale, fold down. As you inhale, lift your head, stretch forward, fingertips or not. Right tippy toes, plug your left foot up. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels, roll forward, high plank. Knees down. Let's keep the toes tucked. child's pose. Inhale, round forward once more. Lift your knees, lift your hips, point your right toes back. Now bend your elbows a little bit, press the floor away, glide back, three-legged downward facing dog. Now slowly from here, lift your head if you need to for balance, and slowly lower your left elbow down towards the floor. If it doesn't go down, just bend it to the best of your ability. With the elbow to the floor, press the right hand forward. Inhale. Exhale, lift the left elbow back away from the ground and step your right foot forward in between your hands. Spin your left heel to the floor, warrior one. Inhale. And as you exhale, bend your elbows, cactus the arms. Take another breath as if someone lifts you up by the chest. Exhale, pull your elbows back, but now fly your hands back as well. Hands are flying back, but you're not trying to straighten your spine. You're actually trying to lift your heart up. Take a big breath in, come to your left tippy toes, and fly forward into airplane, lifting your left leg up, and then square your left hip down. Keep your heart lifted, maybe gaze forward. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly interlace your hands behind your back. Lift your arms away from your spine and hold here for 3. Maybe a little bend to your elbows. Lift the heart. 2. And 1. Bend into your right knee. Step your left leg back at a 45. Inhale, reach your arms up. Warrior 1. Exhale, squeeze the elbows. Bring them down to the floor. Fingertips. Fold over your right leg straight. Stay straight with the leg. Inhale, come to fingertips again. Come to left tippy toes and step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels, come forward, high plank, knees down. Keep the toes tucked under, child's pose. Inhale, round forward, hands and knees. Lift the thighs, lift the chest. Point your left toes back, maybe bend your elbows a little bit and then press, three-legged downward facing dog. Drop the skull, bring your right elbow down to the floor if you can. Your right leg can be a little micro bend. If you have the space, the heel could drop to the floor, but maybe you're on your toes, that's fine. Think of keeping the left leg high and stretching, pressing out from the left hand. Slowly from here, lift the right elbow back up. Exhale, right knee to nose, high onto your right toes, and step your left foot forward. Virabhadrasana. Inhale, sweep the arms up, big breath. Exhale, cactus the elbows so you recruit the muscles on your back. Then squeeze your elbows back even a little bit more, and then slowly start to lean forward with your arms straight back behind. Feel the lifting of the chest, so even though you're forward, you're still trying to shine that beam of light from your heart. And then start to shift forward, squaring the right hip down, airplane pose. Maybe lift the chin, lift the heart. For 3, 2, 1, stay here, interlace the hands, lift them away from the butt and feel even more recruitment in your upper back. For 3, little bend to the elbows if you're very open. 2, 1, bending into your left knee, step the right foot back, release the hands. Warrior 1, inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms, slowly let your heart glide forward, fingertips, and straighten your left leg. Inhale, come to your right toe, so you square the hip, press down, lift the left foot, step back, downward facing dog. Okay. In your down dog, inhale, lift your heels, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, knees down, untuck your toes, child's pose. Inhale, round forward, hands and knees. Drop your hips, lift your knees, modified upward facing dog. Point your right toes back, inhale. Exhale, press forward, open the right hip as you bend the knee. Slowly from here, bring your left elbow down towards the floor. And maybe bring your right elbow down towards the floor. If that doesn't happen, don't worry. Maybe the right hip doesn't open as much as it normally does, that's fine. Inhale, lift the head and try and see if you can lift your elbows at the same time. Press the floor and step the right foot up towards the right thumb. If it didn't happen, don't worry. Spin your left heel down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Warrior 1. Exhale, cactus the elbows, and now we interlace the hands behind the back. But wait, if you already did it, release the hands. And now try and see if you can reach your fingertips towards each other, but don't bend your elbows to grab them. Try to keep your arms straight. straight, 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 until you clasp your fingertips. And if they had to bend, they had to bend. Inhale, lift your chest up, slingshot. And exhale, come down and forward, reaching the arms overhead and gazing back at the left foot. Right, so if you have the tendency to look down at the right foot, try and see if you can move your chin in towards your chest. Also, if you notice your right butt cheek sticking out towards the right, scooch that right sit bone back in towards the left inner thigh. Inhale, super deep. Exhale, release the hand. Stay low. Bring your left hand to the floor. Bring your left knee to the floor and twist your right arm up towards the sky. You can stay right here or reach the right arm back for the left foot. Squeeze the heel to the butt to the best of your ability. If you have a little bend in your right elbow, you can pull your right shoulder more towards the right and feel the opening in your chest. For 3, big breath. 2, and 1. Slowly release. Reach the right arm up towards the sky, lift the left knee, spin to the knife edge of your left foot, and step your right foot behind you. Now, don't go into a super deep back bend yet. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Cactus your right elbow. And now start to cactus your chest open. So as you reach your right elbow back, this is what's going to revolve your chest to the sky. Look up. Let the gravity grip into your right arm for 3. Left arm stable. 2, 1. Slowly re-extend the right arm up. Right hand comes down to the floor, high plank, and we come down for chaturanga, all the way towards the ground. Extend your right arm out towards the right flat. Bend your left knee and roll onto your right shoulder. Stay here for 3. A moment to catch your breath. Stretch into that right armpit. 2, and 1. Slowly inhale, come back into the middle. Extend your left arm out towards the left, bend your right knee, and step your right foot behind your left. You can look up, you can look down, whatever feels best on your neck. For 3, stretching into the shoulder and chest. 2, and 1. Slowly release, come back to center. Hands beside your ribs, hands not on the floor. Elbows lift, legs lift. Flex your toes, so toes pointing down. Press into your hands, press your toes down, modified upward dog. Point your left toes back, exhale, bend the left knee, open up the left hip. Slowly bring the right elbow down to the floor. If you're feeling open and flexed, also left elbow down to the floor. Drop your head and just see what you can do. If it's not happening, don't worry and giggle about it. 1 more big breath. For me, it helps to lift the head. Try and see if you can lift your elbows at the same time. Press, lift, and step your foot forward towards the left thumb. Right inner heel to the floor, Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, cactus the elbows. Let the arms come back, let the body come forward. Reach without grabbing. Yeah, so you're reaching. You're trying to keep your arms straight. Your fingers are pointing towards each other, straight arms. And then maybe without bending them, you can grab them. Change all your fingers to the opposite direction. Stretch the arms away from the chest. Inhale, heart open. And exhale, come down and in towards your left side. If you're a blessed open one, you can imagine a phone call with your left ankle, left ear coming in towards the left ankle. If you're more stronger by nature and your muscles are a little tighter, just imagine you're a unicorn and you're trying to prick your horn into the mat, right? So head is down. For 3, big breaths. 2, and 1. Squeeze your left sit bone. Slowly rise, right hand to the floor, right knee to the ground, left arm up, bending open into your twist. Exhale, left hand reaches back for the right foot, and we pull the foot in. So maybe that means that you're here, right? Maybe you are unable to sink forward. If you are able to sink forward, great, but if not, still great. Pull your left shoulder back, gaze up for 3, And let the breath go where it can. So don't necessarily worry about getting the breath into the places that feel stuck. The breath will get there anyway. Right? As long as you breathe, try to soften into everything that's sort of working against you. Like you're just receiving the pressure. Inhale. Exhale, slowly release. Tuck the right toes. Lift the left arm up towards the sky. Spin to the knife edge of the right foot and take a little step with your left foot back behind you. Reaching the left arm up to the sky. Now don't go into a super deep back bend yet right away. Cactus your left elbow and then pull your left elbow back. Let this move your chest up towards the sky. Maybe drop your head back and let gravity pull your left arm. Lift your heart, press your right hand down and forward for 3. Remember lifting the chest to stretch the chest away from the hips, not to necessarily go into a back bend 2. And 1. Left arm back up to the sky. Pull the ribs back in, left hand to the floor. High plank. Exhale down, chaturanga. Untuck the toes. Reach the left arm out towards the left. Bend the right knee and step the right foot behind you for 3. 2. And 1. Slowly come back to center. Reach the right arm out towards the right. Bend into the right knee and roll onto the right shoulder. For 3. Big breaths. 2. And 1. Slowly come back onto the belly. Lift the chest. Reach the hands back behind you. Interlace the hands behind you again. Lift the heart up. Lift the legs up. Put a little bend in the elbows, lifting the chest, and breathe. 3, 2, 1. Keep the legs up. Bend the elbows. Hover them beside the hips. Stay here. Hover, hover for 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands to the floor. Tuck the toes. Modified upward dog. Inhale. Point your right toes back. Reach the right leg up and back. Bend into the left elbow. Bring it to the floor. Bring the right elbow down to the floor. Inhale, lift the head. Lift the elbows, ideally at the same time, and step the right foot forward to the top of the mat. Slowly from here, bring your left knee down, and maybe also bring your left forearm down. Reach the right arm up towards the sky. If your left forearm does not come down to the floor, you can bring it onto a block. Reach the right arm up, and maybe reach back for the left foot. Squeeze it in for 3. Big breaths. 2. And 1. Releasing the left foot. Reach the right arm back up. If you were on a block, you will have to release it. If you are on your forearm, lift your left knee. Reach your right arm. Okay, here we go. Spin to the knife edge of the left foot and try and see if you can either step the right foot on top of the left. You can stay here for a second, side plank on your elbow. But now we're going to step the right foot a little bit back. Wild thing on the elbow. Bend your right elbow, cactus, and then let your chest spin open. Left shoulder is opening. Chest is opening for 3. Big breath. 2. And 1. Gather your core. Right elbow to the floor. Forearm plank. Start to walk your feet in. Come into dolphin pose. In your dolphin pose, breathe. Dropping your head, maybe a little bend to the knees for 5. 4. Head not on the ground. 3. 2. And 1. Slowly lift your head. Try and see if you can lift your elbows at the exact same time. And if that didn't happen, 1 at a time. Inhale forward, high plank. Exhale, bend your elbows and come down, chaturanga. Bend your right elbow this time. So it's bend, elbow in line with the shoulder. Bend the left knee and roll onto the right shoulder. If you want to play, you can keep the left knee lifted. If that's too much on the shoulder, bring the foot down for 3, 2, 1. Slowly roll back onto the belly same thing. Bend your left elbow, right? So we're cactusing the left arm. Step the right foot back or not. Choose for 3. Leaning into that left armpit. 2. And 1. Slowly release. Come down onto the belly, cactusing both of your arms, lifting the legs. Try to pull your elbows forward, right? So instead of the hands down, the elbows up, try to have the elbows down and the hands up for 3. Big breaths. 2. 1. Bring the hands beside the waist, tuck the toes, modified upward dog. Point your left toes back, bend your left knee, open up your left hip. Right elbow down to the floor, left elbow down to the floor. Stay there for a breath in. Hey, Jackie. And exhale, stepping the left foot forward in between the hands. All right. Come on, sit there. Good boy. Sit there. Good. Bring the right elbow down to the floor, if you can, or maybe bring it down onto a block. Lift your left arm up and reach your left hand back for your right foot. Breathing here. He'll go away. You let him be. For 3, maybe looking up, right? You're on the right elbow. 2, and 1. Keep the right elbow down, release the right foot. Come up onto the right big toe so that you're lifting the knee away from the floor. Keep the right forearm to the ground, and then first step your left foot on top of your right, so side plank on the right forearm. Feel the right shoulder work. Little step with your left foot behind you, cactusing your left elbow, and then reaching your chest back. Let the gravity grip on your left armpit for 3. Big breath. 2. And 1. Slowly gather your core, left forearm back to the floor. Right here, forearm plank. Maybe you want to shimmy on this part of the song. Moving your hips from side to side for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walk your feet in, come into dolphin pose, dropping the head, maybe little elbow to the little chin to the chest, elbows on the floor. Elongate, press your chest down and away from your hands for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly from here, lift your heels, come forward, bring your knees down to the ground, and take a second to sit back on your feet. You can bring your hands down onto your legs, palms facing up, chin to the chest. Close your eyes. All right, so take a moment to feel into that heat that has been generated, I think, and in a way, I hope. And see if you can have your breath not necessarily fight against the sensations that might be intense or tough right now, but rather kind of glide over, encapsulate, lick at whatever you're feeling. Right, as humans, we have the tendency for when we want something, we want it right away. Like when we feel sick, we want to be ready that instant, and we want to feel better and not sick anymore right away. When we feel tension or when we do stretches, like in yin poses, we want the maximum result right away. But I think the practice is also really great for teaching patience and acceptance and for really being in the middle of the moment, right in between the blockages crumbling down or the walls crumbling down, right, the doors opening up. Let's all take a big breath in through the nose and exhale everything out. Okay. Allow your eyes to open if they were closed. Come back into downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog for a moment. So avoid the urge to do anything else for a second. Get really still. Maybe there are some sensations that are very loud and very obvious. Can you feed them with your breath? Maybe there are some thoughts. Maybe there are some drops of sweat on your top lip. I know there is on me. And instead of trying to change anything, be right in the middle of it. Take a big breath in. And a sweet breath out. On your next inhale, lift your heels, roll all the way forward, high plank. Bring your knees down, untuck your toes, child's pose. Inhale, way forward, come back into cat. Exhale, glide back, child's pose. Inhale, ripple forward, cat. Exhale, glide back, child. Last one, inhale, ripple forward to cat. This time, tuck your toes, glide back once more. Prepare for the modified upward dog. Inhale, round forward, cat. Lift your knees, lift your right foot. Inhale. Exhale, glide back. Left elbow to the floor. Step into your elbow wild thing or your normal wild thing. Reach your right arm up over your ear. Maybe even touch the floor with your right fingertips. Lift your hips, spin your chest open. Take a big breath. Try now with your left elbow to the floor to step your right foot up to the top of your mat. And if that didn't work, get your foot there somehow. Bring your left knee down to the floor and reach your right hand back for your left foot. Gaze up, one big inhale. Exhale. Release your left foot, bring your toes back into the ground. Lift your left knee, lift your left elbow. Inhale. Think of reaching your right hand back, and as you do, spin your left heel to the floor and open into warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, reverse your warrior, take a half bind. Left elbow to your right inner thigh. Reach your right arm over your ear. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bring your right hand down to the inside of your right foot or bind underneath your right leg. Don't necessarily think about coming into bird of paradise unless you want to. Look over your left shoulder and try to squeeze your left shoulder on your back. You could try with the right leg straight. 3. Big breath. 2. Leaning back. 1. Release the hands. If you were in bird of paradise, come back. Inhale, reach the arms and come into warrior one. So we try to square the hips. Exhale, cactus the elbows, interlace the hands behind your back, push the chest up. Lean forward, come into airplane. Left leg up, arms up. Breathe. 3. Maybe start to dive more into what feels like a standing split. Might not look like it, like on me. In standing splits, you do want to look down for balance unless you're super open. Bring your forehead to your right shin. 2. And 1. Slowly keep your hands, bend into your right knee, step your left foot back, then release your hands, high lunge, inhale. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Pick your right foot up, step back, downward dog. Okay, left side, here we go. Inhale, round forward, high plank. Knees down, keep your toes. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, round forward, hands and knees, drop your hips, look forward. Modified up dog, point your left toes and glide back, three-legged dog, right elbow to the floor if you can. Spin to the knife edge of your right foot, step your left foot behind you, and find your wild thing on your right forearm. Either cactus your left elbow or maybe press your left fingers to the floor overhead for 3, 2, 1. Can you keep your right elbow to the floor? Look down. Lift your left knee and step your left foot forward to the top of your mat with your right forearm down. Whew. Bring your right knee down, reach back. Feel the front of your right thigh open for 3, 2, 1. Press down from the right hand, tuck the right toes. Lift the right elbow and right knee. And as you reach the left hand back, open into warrior 2. So that's this matrix move. Reverse your warrior inhale and start to take your right hand in the half bind. Right hand in your left inner thigh. Exhale, left fingertips inside, or full bind, in which you'll have to take those fingers back out. Roll the right shoulder back, look up. You could come into bird of paradise, or you could straighten your right leg, or you can stay with the first option. 3, try to pull the right shoulder open. Ground your right big toe and your pinky toe. 2. And 1. Slowly release the hands, bend into the left knee, take the arms forward, square the hip, inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms, interlace, try to have the opposite pinky on top. Come forward, airplane. And from your airplane, dive down into your variation of standing splits. Imagine your hands coming so far overhead that they could touch the floor. Don't forget to lift your right leg high, spreading through the toes. Whew, if you wobbly, you're human. 3, breathe, maybe burning in the legs. 2, right leg higher. 1, bend that left knee. Slowly step the right foot back. Remember to move with control and with breath. Reach your arms up. High lunge. Exhale, fingers to the floor. Straighten your left leg. Pick the foot up. Downward facing dog. Normal vinyasa. Inhale, lift your heels. Roll forward, high plank. Bend your elbows. Chaturanga. Untuck your toes. Upward dog. Exhale, back. Downward facing dog. Take a big inhale through your nose. If you're comfort in your own home, you can make a sound. Exhale. Inhale. And one more. Inhale. Maybe a softer, more friendly sound. All right. Bring your knees down. Take a seat on your feet. I'm going to do a quick time check. I noticed by the music that we're probably, 15 minutes left. Okay. So I did say that we were going to try to go into forearm stand. Okay. I wish I could see everyone's faces right now. Maybe some of you got really, really scared just now. Don't worry about it. You can practice with a wall. You don't have to come to a wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to prepare for press forearm, okay? Which actually doesn't involve any jumping, okay? Meaning that if you do not have the strength yet, that this is the perfect preparation to cultivate the strength. Even if at some point you are going to try to jump into it, we're not going to do that now. A press means that there is so much down force energy that something else goes up. That makes sense, I hope, right? So when something presses down so much, the energy that pushes into the floor will emanate up through the body and will make the extremity, the other end, hopefully fly up. Again, you could use a block here. 2 ways that you could use the block. Block in between forearms. I don't necessarily like block in between the hands because I feel like it blocks me from going forward, but it's up to you. I like block in between forearms. And the second block or book you could use is underneath one of your feet. You don't need any of this. If you don't use the blocks, it'll be extra hard, but still you'll be doing the work to cultivate the strength. So we're going to come into either forearms on block or not, or one foot on something higher. Bring your elbows down to the floor. And remember, you might not actually come up. That is actually the point. Get your block a little closer in than you think. So when you're on hands and knees, forearms to the floor, your block should be around ankle or calf height. Lift your hips so that you can come into dolphin pose. Don't worry, you don't have super flexible hamstrings. They don't have to be super straight. Now, whether you're working with or without the block, pick your least favorite leg, in my case, my left, and lift it up. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come high up onto the tips of the toes, and we're going to imagine pressing down into the forearm so much that that left leg will magically lift the right foot up away from the floor. That might not happen. If you are a little bit more advanced and you want to give it a go, you could try this on the block. Lift up onto the right tippy toes on the block, press, and maybe press so much that your left leg lifts the right leg away from the floor. If that doesn't happen, you just keep pressing. No even need to bring the legs together. Breathe for 3. Maybe you're just pressing. Remember, there's no jumping. 4, 5. If your right foot was hovering, slowly bring it down. Bring the left knee down, untuck the toes, and sit back. Come off the elbows here for a moment. Close the eyes. Take a moment to simmer in what just happened. Maybe nothing happened. That's okay. We are going to do the other side. Breathe in and out. Okay. Allow the eyes to open and come back forward onto knees and elbows. Okay. So like I said, maybe just have a look at the screen so that I can demo, and then we will do it all together. So there is a pressing down of the elbows into the floor when the leg extends. So I'll show you. I'm using the block here just so that I can give you the full demo, because if my foot is on the floor, I do have a little bit of a harder time with this. So I'm looking forward, I'm lifting my right leg, and I'm pressing from my elbows so much that I'm trying to stretch my right leg to the sky. Now there shouldn't be a jump, but just to press from the elbows into the floor to get that right leg to lift my left. Now I don't even bring my legs together because I want my left leg to be a lever. Breathe. I'm trying to breathe and talk. I press my hands into the floor and I let my left foot come back down. Okay? Your turn. We'll try it together. If you were already up or playing whatever you were doing, I cannot see most of you. All right. So, elbows down, right leg lifts, and maybe you're not actually lifting in this next one, right, that I'm demoing without that block. I'll probably not lift. So, right leg high, come to your left tippy toes and press, press, press for 5, 4, maybe this is you. 3, press, 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 press. 2, and 1. If you're floating, bring the left foot down. If you are not floating, bring the right leg also down. And sit back onto your heels. And drop in. Close your eyes. Right, that's intense stuff. The burning is real. And just know that most of the times the preparation to something could be so much harder than the actual thing itself. Which is like, for example, anxiety works like that as well. Sometimes the fear of anxiety or the fear of something happening might actually be so much bigger than the initial burst of energy that we felt. It's like the Harry Potter quote, the fear of the name can create more fear of the thing itself. Take a big breath in through your nose. And exhale. Okay. Slowly from here, hands to the floor, tuck your toes. If you have a hard time sitting in yogic squat, use a block. If you're okay without a block, just come into your yogic squat. All right. We're going to counter work the shoulders a little bit. Bring your right hand in to your right hip crease so that your right knee is pressing your right elbow forward. And try and see if you can do the same with your left. So here, let your knees press your elbows forward. The more you walk your hands in, the intenser the stretch will be. So if you're not on the block, right, you're doing the squat in the normal way. Let your knees press your elbows forward and in, feeling the internal rotation, right? Those were those big muscles on the outsides of the shoulders stabilizing when we put the elbow on the floor and all of the other shapes. Breathing, 5, 4, 3. You could drop your head. 2. And 1. Slowly on your inhale, lift your head up. Release your hands out from your hips. And then slowly fold forward, lifting your hips up as well. You could do whatever you want with your arms here. If you feel like another shoulder opener, taking the arms over here, then you could do that. If you're like, enough, to hold whatever you'd like to hold. Let your head dangle. Ragdoll could be nice. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly from here, whatever you were doing with your arms, release. Slowly come back into your squatting position, but just use it this time to sit down onto your butts and to come roll onto the floor. Once you are all the way down on the ground, bring your hands behind your head interlaced. Bring your elbows to the floor, right? So they are down. Press your head into your hands so you can lift your chest, and then squeeze your shoulder blades together so that you can really feel them connect to your mat. Lift your knees and drop your knees towards the right without your left elbow coming off the floor. Try to keep that left elbow on the ground. You should feel a stretch in your armpit. Slow down the breath. And maybe feeling how some of the tributaries, so tributaries are little rivers coming out of a big river. Feel the tributaries of the energy coming from the central channel, reaching a little bit deeper or further out into the forest of your being. It's like they're carving their way through your entire system. You can close your eyes. Take another big inhale through your nose. And exhale, where could you float a little bit more? When you're ready, squeeze your heels in and come back into the middle. Realign your hips with your spine. Lift your head and change the grip of your fingers. Lay your head back down and then drop to the other side. Keep your right elbow on the floor. Feel the pressure of the mat press up into your left shoulder blade so that the twist is not just happening from your middle back, but also your upper back. Your head is in the middle, so the head doesn't have to turn. Try to have the legs heavy so they fall into one another to touch. Breathing. Notice how silence is so much easier now that we've dropped into the body. Let the belly move up and down with the breath. Take 2 more breaths, or let's say 3 more breaths in that pose. Okay. Let's all take another big breath in through the nose. And a nice, long, juicy exhale, maybe out of your mouth. Slowly, when you're ready, move your knees back into the middle. Lift your head so that you can take your arms out. Maybe hug the knees in towards the chest. Massaging over the lower back a little bit from side to side. Okay, bring your feet to the mat. And if you like your Shavasana traditionally, right, with your legs extended and your feet flat out to the sides, then go ahead and do that. For today, I prefer my feet about as wide as my mat, my knees together. And instead of bringing my hands down beside my body, I will cactus my elbows. Or actually, maybe I'll hold my elbows overhead. Make sure that whatever position you choose, so even if you're choosing arms overhead or cactus, if your elbows are not on the floor, then don't do it, right? If you're like this. If you can bring them down to relax on the ground, then go ahead and do it. Close your eyes and let your mouth, the back of your throat, let it melt. Maybe swallow just once so that you can feel that warmth travel down from your throat into your belly. Let your actual belly dance up and down on the breath, on the dance of the breath. And we're here in Shavasana. I'll let you know when to come out. So for now, you relax and enjoy a couple moments of marination. There is absolutely no rush whatsoever. So just without moving, just become aware of what it's like to be you right now. Just let your breath come back in and feel its power. Feel what you're left with after what we've done today, regardless of being able to do the things or not. Just the breathing and energetically being together, even though we're not together. Give yourself a breath that's just soothing, that's just right. It's not forced or exaggerated. Just take a breath that fills your spirit. And maybe if you take a couple of those breaths, eventually you'll feel like a movement starts to form. Maybe in your fingertips, maybe in your toes. Maybe you feel like rubbing your hands and placing them on your face. Then you could reach your arms overhead and stretch out. Take your time. Roll on to your side. And if you need more time, take more time, yeah? Eventually coming into a seat. Keep your eyes closed for another moment. And feel the humming and buzzing of your being. So like I did last week, only if you want, you don't have to. You could open your camera so that I can see some of you when we say namaste to each other. You don't have to. You can just stay as you are. I'll wait for just a moment in case you do want to open. And I want to thank you all so much. We bring the hands to the heart. We close the eyes. And I thank you all immensely for being here today, for sharing your time, for sharing your energy. I hope you loved it. I know I loved it. I hope you are healthy. I hope you're safe. Yeah, and I just hope so much love for each and every one of you. Thank you. Let me know if there are any questions. You'll receive a follow-up email, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Not too much technical stuff. I love you all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste from the bottom of my heart. Bye.
Thank you, Tanika.
You're welcome. Dag Nielski.
Dankjewel.
Dag Eefje.
Doei.
Doei. Bye, Sandrine. So nice to have you. Gabby, I'm going to give you a text. Au revoir, à tout à l'heure. Je t'aime beaucoup. Au revoir.